here. You know, it's so weird to be on stage because usually I'm back there with you, watching the speakers and clapping for Jack. And when Jack got the invitation to come and speak in Australia, we were like, yeah, Australia! We're going to meet some cool people with cool accents. We're going to see koalas and kangaroos. Oh my gosh. And then I got an email and it said, Jane, we'd like you to give a TEDx talk. And I was like, oh my God, me? What do I have to talk about? And I just couldn't figure it out. But then I thought about it and it came to me. And here it is. I'm a mom. I'm a proud mom. I've got 2 great kids, and they've done some amazing things. But then again, what mom doesn't think their kid has done some amazing things? But like any mom, I get really worried about my kid's future, especially now my oldest son is off to university. And I mean, looking back, I have bought him some useless things. I bought him rugs and curtains and matching bedspreads and pillows, and definitely more school supplies than any kid will need in a year. I mean, seriously, how many kids need 720 pencils to go to school for a year? But then again, it's a mom's job to worry. It's what we do. And, you know, I take that job seriously. I worry 24/7. I worry about my kid's grades or whether he's studying for his SAT standardized tests. And you know what? I even worry about whether they're eating enough vegetables. Typical mom stuff. Now, it's been 18 years since I've been on this journey as a mom, and I've enjoyed most of it. However, at the beginning, I knew nothing, and I was so freaked out about everything. One day, I was driving home from work, listening to the radio, and I remember listening to all these terrible stories. You know, globalization, the disappearance of the middle class, jobs vanishing, never to return. It was pretty dismal stuff. And then after dinner, I'd open up the newspaper, and I was struck by these terrible pronouncements about education. I mean, is it supposed to be a tool to create tomorrow's citizens? Or maybe a stepping stone to higher socioeconomic status? Or maybe we should have even more standardized testing to prove that teachers are teaching what the government requires. And it struck me then that my kids could be grandparents before any of these educational theories trickled down to their schools, and I couldn't stop on world events while I waited for the educational system and the government to decide what's best for kids. And I couldn't wait and hope that my kids would hit the lottery and get paired up with a teacher every year for 12 years. So right then, I decided to stop depending on them and what they should or shouldn't do and hijack my kids' education. I mean, schools are great. They're great for training kids to sit still and obey orders, to memorize facts and figures, and to become employees. They are great to teach to a test that really has nothing to do with the real world, unless you plan on making a career of writing standardized tests. But what about creativity and innovation? What if success in this new world means not sending out your resume, but creating a new path for yourself? And we parents have to stop being lazy and waiting for them to prepare our kids for the real world and start thinking and preparing our kids ourselves. Let the schools train them while we do our job to mentor them so that they can problem solve, so that they can troubleshoot and learn perseverance and what failure means and how to overcome it, and to engage in creative thinking. And to mentor kids that eventually they could direct their own learning and that they could combine information from new and different fields together creatively and then persuade and communicate. Think about it. What's your goal? You know, I talk to a lot of parents in the US, and they say, you know, my goal is for my child to be happy. And I go, oh. And then I talk to their kids, and I go, so kids, like, what's up with that, yo? Like, what's happiness to you? And they say, oh, to me, perfect happiness would be just sitting in front of the TV, playing my video games, not doing my school work, stuffing myself with junk food. And I think to myself, that doesn't seem like a great recipe for long-term happiness. You know, there's many paths to a successful life, but to find meaningful and challenging work that could support you, that might be a good starting goal. And to succeed, then first you just need to show up. And then if you want to do even better, then you show up with a goal. And if you really want to achieve, you show up with a goal and a plan to implement it. And that's your job. Parents, that's your job, is to uncover your child's talents and help them develop them and help them realize their potential. An acorn is an oak in miniature, but with the right environment, it can grow into the mighty tree it's meant to be. So now you've learned to think, and you have a goal. Now it's time to put them to use. Pay attention. You can't just let a kid go through 18 years of school and then ask them, well, what are your interests? What are you good at? They're going to say, oh, I don't know. I mean, help them out. Parents need to teach their kids like a lioness teaches their cubs, and not that Disney version. No kindly animal is going to stop by and teach your kids or the cubs how to survive in the real world. It's a tough, competitive world that's moving fast, and you, like the lioness, need to prepare your kids for real life. So you need to emphasize how to hunt for answers. And if you don't know how, take some personal responsibility. Go to the library, ask the librarian, how do I search for information on the internet? And then just as the lioness doesn't wander off and expect their cub to take down the first wildebeest that it comes across, don't expect your high school graduate to write a research paper if you never spent the time to teach them how to hunt. It's a learned skill. Your kids can't do it correctly the first time. And so be like the lioness, do it in small steps. Just like the lioness will bring like a dead piece of prey there, then a half-dead piece of prey, and then finally teach their kids to kill. You have to teach confidence in small steps. And always ask more questions than you have answers to let them come to the realization themselves. Let your child teach you and explain their process to you. And this is the important step. At first, you might have to hunt for opportunities for your child. There's so much free information online, and your job is to hunt these opportunities for your kid and then present them with these opportunities. And that is your goal, to search for that point where their talent and their interests coincide. And it took us forever to find that point. It's not easy. I mean, at first we started with music. We did piano and cello and violin and flute and clarinet and saxophone, and they sucked at it all. And then I go, okay, maybe they're really into sports. So we tried football and soccer and lacrosse and basketball and baseball and swimming now. Okay, so maybe they're meant for the arts. They can do like plays or write short stories or poems now. All right, dance classes now. So we actively hunted for opportunities to match the kids' interests so they could develop whatever talent they had. And we praised the effort. We praised the process and not the result. We said if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. We noted frustration's part of that learning process at first. But if you love your subject, then you're willing to push past that failure and frustration and get that wonderful feeling of pride in your own hard work and your own achievements. So even if it's quicker and easier, we didn't provide answers, but we guided them by asking them questions that they could answer on their own. And that's why eventually when the topics got too hard for me to answer questions about, I could still help them through their tough patches by having them explain their thought processes, and then they could answer their own questions a lot of the time. And another great thing is have an idea book. Oh my gosh, this is great. like kids, they're so creative. They have so many ideas, and it's buzzing around their heads. So you just have them write them all down. Nothing's too crazy. You got an outline for a play. You got a cool science experiment. You write that down. And it might seem really off the wall. It might be way too advanced for their age. Who knows? But write it all down, sketch it, draw it, and go back through it regularly, because as they gain knowledge and experience, they can make those ideas real. And remember that no matter what their passion is, whether it's writing or the sciences or athletics, there's no instant success. Success comes from those small intermediate steps, like building a Lego construction of some sort. For instance, my older son noticed when we were kayaking that the rivers were bright orange, and he goes, "Why is that? Why is this river orange?" I go, "Well, I don't know, figure it out." And that led to his first project, which was, can limestone aggregate remediate acid mine drainage? He loved the history, the environmental and political issues behind it, and the chemistry. And then he was going to go to the science fair, and I caught him just weeping. He goes, "Mom, it's just rocks and water." And I said, "Dude, like, it's okay. Science is just little increments of progression, little successes. It's all good. Go out there. You're fine." And sure enough, he entered, and he placed in the national middle school competition. But he was still excited. There was still so much more to learn. So he grew his project, and he went to the International Science and Engineering Fair. And he did a static cell that remediates acid mine drainage. And then for his final year, a dynamic electrochemical remediation of acid mine drainage. And he won the MIT Think Award and $96,000 at the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair. But that takes time and persistence and the development of skills to reach that result. And so we celebrated those small steps and the small successes, and we praised the process. And competition is valuable because it gives real-world feedback. I mean, your mom's always going to love whatever you do, right? But this is real-world feedback, and it motivates your child more than your mom can to learn and progress and to learn important lessons like how to deal with failure. Nobody died from losing. It's all good. It's okay to fail because then you're motivated to improve for the next time, and you're inspired by the other people's projects or performances. And I also say, one project, many competitions. Don't get crazy here. So if you get a science project, then you enter it in a science fair where you talk to a judge, or you enter a video about your project and its impact, or you write an essay and you tell about, what you've done with it. Or you can write a research paper and send it into a journal, or you can even do a community improvement project or patent it, start a business. Often your kids don't have time to hunt for these opportunities, so it's your job to go out and look for those lists of competitions and present it to them and say, well, which one are you going to do? Now here's your timeline, here's your due date, get busy. So in closing, parents have to stop being lazy. Raising kids, hard work. It takes time and patience. And if before you had kids you used to be lazy, that's okay. But right now, it's time to step up to the plate, to accept responsibility, and to do your job. Teach your kids that problems in the world are just opportunities in disguise, and that innovation comes from discontent. Know that petty rules stifle curiosity and creativity, so have less rules and more independent thinking. Because if you live in the box, it's really hard to think outside of it. So teach your kids how to hunt and think independently, and don't depend on them to educate your child. That's your job. So take the time to research opportunities for your kids. Take the time to help them hunt for the opportunities. Take the time to help your kid discover what he's great at, and then praise the attempt, praise the process and the perseverance and the hunt, and support those failures, and most of all, love your kids and help them develop their potential and become the people they're meant to be. Thanks.